So for those of you that don't know, I'm an editor. And as an editor, I prefer PC over Mac. And why, you may ask? And that is solely because if there's an issue, I can likely fix it. Now, I've been messing around with computers for quite some time, about 6 years now, since probably my sophomore year of high school. And I actually did make a tutorial. I think, oh, does it just turn open like a, it's like a f***ing microwave? Yeah, so that was my first time ever building a computer, and a lot has changed, and I have gained a lot of knowledge. To the point where I actually just rebuilt my new editing rig not too long ago, about a year ago. But I never had a chance to film it because I never really had a top camera angle and, you know, just a normal front-facing camera angle. By the way, I know this angle kind of sucks, but it gets the job done. So it just so happens my friend Paul got a new computer, and he wants me to just build it for him. Right now inside are the old components, so we do have to take those out and then, you know, put the new ones in. But I already did that before. Essentially, it's just a pain in the butt to do. By the way, small disclaimer. People do things different. For example, I don't have microfiber cloths to wipe off thermal paste. I will be using paper towel. If that's, you know, harsh enough. Before I used Windex and tissues. And guess what? In the end, everything was fine. I should also mention for this build, my friend Paul, he's confident enough, and just from seeing the results of my PTM test and how it's been over a month and how it's perfectly fine, he also wants PTM in his computer. So I'm going to get to do the interesting thing of putting thermal paste in it first, seeing if it boots up, and then, you know, making sure everything's okay, then applying PTM, because I don't know where to whisper to, but PTM's kind of expensive. But again, hey, if you put it on there once you're done, I don't care. All right, so with that out of the way, let's start. First thing I'm going to do is remove this cover thing and just throw it on the floor. I think the hardest part about this is actually going to be taking off the front case, because I've only worked with one case in my life, so I'm going to try to do this while facing the camera. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And it's heavy, by the way, heavy case. So this is what we got in here. I could show this camera, ta-da! Or we're going to do the cool thing. We're going to flip it. So this is Paul's old build. Let's get a nice little zoom in. Oh, look at that zoom. Awesome. Awesome work. I don't even know which way I'm gonna have this actually move. So right now, I don't remember exactly what, I don't know if it's an i5-R7, but it's an 8th gen. A GTX 1070 3GB, and I think this is actually my old 2666 32 gigs of RAM. Start, you can also see some of the jankiness he had on the side. Paul and I take after. To get one fan to work, he literally had a USB run into the, yeah, it's a mess. But hey, I ain't judging. So this will be really cool, because guess what? I get to use my LTT screwdriver that I've used a lot, actually. And I've never had something more handy as a tool to use. Begin the disassembly process. First, I'm going to start with the graphics card, which I actually think I can just kind of take out. I have my screws off to the side. I think Paul, I mentioned this to Paul, but Paul, if you're watching this, you did a phenomenal job with cable managing. There we go. There's the graphics card. I do have a pile to put this stuff, so don't be alarmed if I walk off screen. It's just somewhere safe. Unplug the motherboard here. I know this is a little bit hard to see. Oh. Now you'll have to forgive me. I can't get enough light into the case. Actually, let me adjust the light real quick. Oh no, that actually helps a lot. Holy crap. Yeah, that helps. Helps a good bit. You know what? I'm just going to leave the CPU fan plugged in there, because it's gonna stay in there. Unscrew the motherboard and just pop it out. That would be great. Sorry, there are going to be times where you see my head get in the way. I hope you do have other screws, Paul. I hope so. As you can tell, I don't have an actual workshop. This is just my wife. Let's get that SSD out. Paul has requested that I just reinstall this SSD. And if it boots, he'll take care of like the Windows update and drivers issues. But I'm also going to give him a a 128 SATA because I have a crap ton from the Cronus video. So I think this is a kit of 16. If not, it's 32 gigs of DDR4. But yeah, there's his old motherboard in very Omen HP fashion. Paul, I'm not sure if you cleaned this. I imagine if you did a little bit, but you know what? Stellar job. I'm proud of you. Now the next part, this one's gonna be kind of boring. Taking out the power supply. Whoa. So that's what I'm gonna do. And if you're wondering why, I think I mentioned this, but I'm giving him my power supply. Oh my God, I hate, Paul, I got it. It's a nice case. I'm not a fan of it. Oh my God, holy crap. Okay, wait. I'm not judging. It's better than I would have done. But holy crap, that's a lot of cables. That's a lot of fans, Paul. I'm just removing the power supply. I don't know what's going to be a good angle or a bad angle. Oh, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. Oh my God. Yes! All right, cool. Old power supply. You could tell it's a pre-built when it doesn't even have a like on-off switch. It's just, yeah, you plug it in, it's good to go. So I should mention probably one of the first things you should do is get the motherboard ready and, you know, prep all that. But before I even start, I want to see how well the power supply I have for Paul fits in here. It's definitely bigger than that thing. This power supply is technically used. It's actually, it was mine for about a year. And then I realized an 850 watt power supply is not really going to handle a 3060 Ti and a 3090 with a bunch of other crap plugged into it. So that's why I got the 1300 watt. But for Paul, completely fine. This can handle a 3060 and a 3060 Ti, so for his uses, it's perfectly fine. And, oh man, this is really going to be a tight squeeze in here, actually. What I should have done... Actually, you know what? I think it's a little bit bigger than the other one, but it's not too big. So I'm definitely going to plug in all the cables first, because I can get my short fingers in there. The actual cable for it, that's a thick boy. I know you really can't see what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm just plugging cables into a power supply and then throwing it in the system. There's nothing really too crazy about it. But what I do want to do is making sure it's one 8-pin for the graphics card so I know what to plug in. I don't even know what, see, I'm definitely doing this backwards because I don't know if his CPU is a 4-pin or like an 8-pin, but I'm pretty sure the 4 pins have like an 8-pin, so it should be fine. Can I fit them in there? Oh no, maybe I can't. All right, hold on, cables. You need to like not argue with me. Yeah, okay, that was actually me just being 100% dumb and not like knowing how to properly... The clap for the hard drive is what's actually getting in the way. There's actually a lot more space for the cables than I thought, if I'm being completely honest. So the only issue I think I'm gonna have is, I mean, there's some room that, maybe you can see my fingers. There's some room to cable manage, but I don't know. These cables are really thick is what I'm trying to say. Wait, yep, CPU. Can I fit it in the corner one? I'll fit in the middle one. I'll take my chances. Yeah, and then SATA, I think I actually just want to keep all in the back for now. So I'm going to leave this open for now. I'm going to put together the motherboard and see what all connectors I need with that as well. Grab the components. Woo! We got this. And we got this. And this. And this. So the best part about all these wonderful components is I hope that the motherboard socket is okay. And that'll go in fine. Putting this in here is the worst part for me. When I did it in my computer, I cried because it made a crunching sound of evil death. It's a lot smaller than I thought, if I'm going to be completely honest. All right. So the way I build motherboards, and a lot of other people do as well, is I imagine on top of the box. Wow, they really gypped out on the SATA connectors. Holy crap. careful as I can. There we go. There we go. The motherboard. I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate everything about installing a CPU. I think technology has gotten so far. How is this still like the scariest thing for everybody to do? Like, I don't know. Like, I hate it. I really actually hate it. Yes, I'm treating everything like a baby. I'm curious to see if the motherboard pins are bent as well, because that's a thing that happens, and it's upside down. Maybe? Whew, that is a fatty die. Oh, there's your CPU. Put a lot of trust in a friend here. None of the pins look bent. I know some people let the shield, the thing with the CPU, pop out after you install it. I always take it out first. Never had an issue doing that. Okay, they made the arrow bigger, so that's cool. This is the worst part. I install it matching that. My voice is cracking because I'm nervous as hell. It's in correctly. I want to make that very clear. Gently. There we go. I think my head was in the way. That's it. It's in. Definitely wasn't as crunchy as I thought. All right, next I'm going to do the RAM. Or actually, let me think about this. I think I want to take that cover off actually, because this is where the, oh my God, what do you call that? I see how much that screwed me up. M.2 cover. Jeez, why couldn't I think of that? Wow, Harrison. Oh, I see what this is. You just give me a screw. I don't know what this little bullshit tab is, and I don't really care. My old man hands. Did you get that, camera? No. That was just, I don't know why they added that. All right, next, RAM. All right, dual channel memory. Which one's which? I don't know. Again, my head's just getting in the way. I'm aware of the situation. It's kind of hard. I just want to make sure I'm... Oh, I can see how you line it up now. And then we'll... Not a very clicky click sound, but it went in. And yes, it is going the right way. It's not going backwards. I'm just being extra cautious. There we go. That made a clicky click sound. All right, RAM's installed. Great. So, did it not come with screws? Do I have to reuse the screws? Is that what I understand? Because there's no screws with it, which is weird. Doing pretty good. I feel a lot better now after putting in the CPU. That sucks. Probably the back plate's gonna suck too. Oh, cover's already smeared and I didn't even touch it, so that's... Paul, it wasn't me. You watched it. You watched it happen. I didn't do it. Everybody knows from my PTM video how I feel about Noctwab putting their fans on. Not my first choice. I remember the backplate was actually very painless to install. Better than the HyperX Evo 12 or whatever. Oh, Paul, you have thermal paste. Look at you. Sorry, my head's in the way. Is there a CPU fan 2 or is it just CPU fan 1? Sorry, Paul, I'm using the splitter. This is 1700 series or 1700 LGA 1700. Okay, so I need the blue spacers. Position 2 for the, okay, so is position 2 the bigger one? Okay, yes, position 2 is the bigger one. Back in my day, like I say it was a long time ago, but back in 2016, this sucked. This sucked putting the back bracket on. It's gotten so much easier, and I'm kind of thankful for it. See if it lines up. I know my arm's probably in the way, but it's just me putting a plate on. There we go. It lined up. You can see the screw heads now. Okay. Wow. I didn't do it. Position 2. Again, my head's in the way, right? 2. Okay, so yeah, it's in position 2, which means when I install it like this, the fan will go burr. And then, do I have top screws for this? I'm pretty sure I do. It says use a screwdriver, but it says, I don't know if I want to do that on the plastic thumb screws. I guess it won't hurt to do, but like... Yeah, there's one. Let's do one good turn. Now we get to put it in the case. And I guess we're going to use the standoff screws that Paul had because I guess those are the ones. I hope he doesn't need more. But that also means I have to fix the back of the case. So I had to let the camera batteries charge, and the only thing I really did was I shoved the cables instead of up through here. I put them through the side over here, and that was just so it would make my life easier screwing in the motherboard. But Paul's going to get 2 whopping great, definitely not used from eBay SSDs. WD Green 120 and a Toshiba 128Q Series Pro. Plug it in like so. And I'm just gonna hide it in out of sight, out of mind, right? That's a free like 200 gigs. You're welcome. So you shouldn't really care if it's just kind of bent up and shoved in there where nobody will ever see it. All right, Paul, before you get mad, I'll show you. It's honestly not too terrible. It's kind of how you left it before. I even told him too. I was like, I'll try my best in cable management, but you know, if I have to get something to fit, it'll fit. Perfect. Now we have all these cables in, which I wish I had a zip tie or something, believe me. There we go. Cables out from underneath. Oh, I need another CPU cable. All the standoffs are in the right place, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, well, the only issue I had was Paul. Okay, so that was just probably a lot of my face. But the issue that I had was Paul didn't have all their man, how do you say this? He's missing one standoff screw, and it's this top one over here. So I actually, it was here first, but then I moved it over to the I/O area, so when you like plug stuff in, it doesn't move anywhere. But I know it's in there. It's secure. It's not going anywhere. May or may not be able to see, but it does have 2 8-pin slots for 2 CPU power cables. Said you don't have to do it, but you can. So we're just gonna do it anyway. There we go. All right, they're both plugged in. And there we go. Woo! All right, now we can start plugging shit in. I will check those cables first, but those ones are in for the CPU. All right, cool. Okay, now for the front I/O, and this is a manual moment. Pretty sure it did. Feel in. All right. Now comes the fun part, CPU and thermal paste. So the plan is first to install the fan with normal thermal paste, and then switch it out and do PTM just to see if it runs, and you know. So I'm just gonna kind of squirt a little bit on. That's not really a P because it doesn't matter. I'm not too worried because again, I am putting PTM on this, but just to do initial like boot up, make sure everything's running, all that jazz. I want to make sure I cover most of it. There's a lot on here actually. Now it is looking a bit thin, so I am going to put a little bit in the middle of this. Just so, actually no, I'll just put a little bit where I think it's needed, like right there. That'll spread out a little bit. Yeah, I know it's probably a bit too much, but I'd rather have a bit too much than not enough. All right, so there we go. Great. Perfect. Now we will I feel like this got easier with this bracket. Maybe it's just because it's 1 and not 2. Like I don't need pliers. All right, now I just gotta, man, I guess I really didn't think this through. I gotta, you know, I have enough room. You're just gonna have to deal with my big ass head. There you go, CPU's plugged in. I wouldn't be surprised if these cables bung against the fan. So, all right, they're gonna be blocking a little, I just don't even know where to put these actually. So you might be thinking, we're missing something. Where's the graphics card? It's a pretty cool 3090. It's, wow, it's a 3060. Yes, this is my old 3060. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's a bit rude giving him an old graphics card. I used it for, at most, like 6 months. This is the satisfying part, I think, is just there you go. Little 3060's in place. Nice fit. Paul, you're gonna have to forgive me, but you only gave me 1 screw to screw this graphics card in, so I'm sure he has the other one, so he can do this. So that's it. Now we turn it on and we see if it works. I am gonna keep the cover off on the side just so we have a better view of what's going on and to make sure everything works all right. I think it'll be fine. I have to be on the floor for this. And 3, 2, 1. Hey, look at that. Oh, I should have sent a video to Paul. Shoot. Okay, well, yeah, it says the CPU and memory change. Well, I mean, besides the fan, besides the cables close to hitting the fans, it works. I'm gonna ask Paul if he still wants PTM in his computer, and if so, I'm gonna do that. I asked Paul and he's like, yeah, throw PTM in there, so that's what we're doing. We're throwing PTM in there. We gotta remove the fans, unscrew that, and do all that garbage again. Oh, man. Jeez. That did not want to come off. Alright. Alright, let's get some rubbing alcohol on this bad boy. Alright, that's good. Now we gotta do the CPU. Also, I'm sorry, I'm just chilling on the floor. There we go. Should be a little bit more in focus this time, hopefully. I'll put a little bit more. I bet it's out of focus again. Would that surprise me? Nope. Alright, this is the part where you add PTM 7950. So now Paul will be the 3rd computer to have this in it installed. Really don't know if you install this. Alright, Paul, I got 1 shot at this, so if I screw it up, I will actually be personally mad because it's PTM 7950 and it's kind of expensive. Perfect. That is actually like a perfect cutting job. That's pretty good, if I say so myself. Probably just saw my head there, right? Maybe, maybe not. All right, give it a good rub. Okay, we did lose a little bit there, but it's not that bad. I think that'll actually be fine if it just stays on top like that, because it's gonna melt and then, you know. Leave a comment down below if you can hear my cat at the door. Should be it. Yeah, I could zoom this out a little bit so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Now I put the fans back on. There we go. Okay, they're both pushing that way. Now we plug everything in and see if it turns on. Again. 3, 2, 1. I expect nothing less. PTM works as intended. PTM build number 3. There we go. Well, that's gonna do it. This was just building a computer. I can already tell you right now, definitely gonna be a way longer video. I always talk about how I can build computers, and I actually always wanted to do a computer build for the channel. It's could be better. Sorry, I don't have a table that's literally, you know, big enough for anything. But yeah, I think it went well. There's a few hiccups here and there. If anything, I will say this, if anything, if I would have done something different, I may have installed the motherboard first before putting the cables through, though I don't know how well that would have worked just because of trying to cram it in and then plug them in afterwards. It probably would have worked. I probably should have done that. But for me, it was easier to kind of just put the power supply in first and manage all the cables. And I say manage very loosely, as you can, you could clearly tell they're not very managed. So that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.